What's good, people? It's Jay Coffee Talk. How you guys doing? Sub to the channel real quick. Hit the bell. We drop a lot of content over here, but man, I want to talk a little bit about this Aaron Hernandez case. As we know, Netflix dropped this docu-series, whatever you want to call it, and everyone's talking about this again, and it's just kind of wild that I believe Aaron Hernandez's downfall, what plagued him and kind of caused him to wild out all the time was self-hate. You know what I mean? Like, this dude, I heard rumblings and rumors of this before because I didn't follow this case super close, but I have studied up more on it, and I knew of this before. There was rumblings, like I said, that Aaron Hernandez was an undercover homosexual, and I mean, the cat's out the bag now with all the information out, and the witnesses, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, speaking out, which I believe everything that one dude saying, his ex, I guess, boyfriend, you want to call him, when they were growing up. That dude ain't lying, man. Aaron Hernandez hated himself and couldn't deal with the fact that he was gay or bisexual or whatever exactly his sexual orientation was. That's not really the point. The point is that he couldn't deal with it. And, it was clear, like, if you hear a lot of those phone calls, there's the ones in the docu-series, and there's more out there. If you do some digging, you can listen to. He would constantly go on these rants about the homosexuals that were in the jail, the real flamboyant, feminine ones. He would talk very, very foul about them. And sometimes he even went overboard, speaking like this to the point where his girl was like, yo, chill, basically, like, let's talk about something else, man. Like, you're in here fighting this case, and that's all you want to talk about is how weird and everything you find these people to be. But it was him hating himself. You know what I mean? It's just kind of crazy. Like, this dude goes on these rants, and then when he commits suicide, he leaves a note. He left a couple notes to his family and everything, and one to his jailhouse boyfriend. So it's just clear to see that this plagued this dude. And I feel like that rage, from not being able to cope with that and deal with that's who he was, is why he was part of why he was such a violent person. You know what I mean? Now there's a lot of talk about CTE, which he was diagnosed with. But I don't believe that CTE. I mean, listen, I'm a guy making a YouTube video. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not, a specialist or anything like that. But CTE is something that they're still figuring out. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, trauma to the brain can cause you to have emotional problems, no question. But what I'm trying to say is Hernandez was displaying this kind of behavior, for a long time. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of wild to think that, Aaron Hernandez was this way, hating himself, hating, being miserable because he didn't open up. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of someone else that I've done a few videos on this channel about, Young Buck, who's sitting in jail right now. But for those who aren't hip hop fans that maybe might end up, watching this video, Young Buck is a rapper who was exposed for messing with a transsexual, a man transitioning into being a woman, or already has. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. Well, anyways, point is Young Buck was clearly exposed with video footage, with audio, phone calls, all kinds of stuff. And we're not just talking about one phone call. We're talking about numerous ones. And it's just this guy still denies it. He still denies it. And we obviously know the world is a lot different today than maybe, or not than maybe, than for sure than it used to be. And you just think that, and this rapper's the same way, he denies it and everything like that, and you just think that if it was eating these people up so bad that they would just keep it real, you know? I don't know, but as I was saying, we don't just have his what's it called, ex-boyfriend or whatever speaking about it. People close to him, you know, said after his death that he did indeed come out to them. We're talking towards the end of his life, he finally opened up about it. And you know, it's like, it's just crazy, man. Now, something else I wanted to speak about with Aaron Hernandez is his time in college. You know, this dude, I was surprised to find that him and Tim Tebow used to hang out, because Tim Tebow is like a saint, you know. And obviously, if you're a Christian person, you're not supposed to judge. So I'm not saying that he should have been judging Hernandez, but or you know, anything like that. No one should be judging. But what I'm saying is, Tim Tebow wouldn't even accept a sports award from Playboy, you know. So I was just surprised to hear that he would be out at bars with Hernandez, you know. But I don't know, maybe he was out there kind of trying to like mentor him or something to a certain degree, or try to, you know, keep him on the straight and narrow. But you know, it obviously didn't work. You know, this guy, everything aside, you know, when it comes to these celebrities and things, you gotta put things aside, you know. Like, a lot of times, because of their status, people can somewhat, I guess, look up to them. So maybe some of the things that they did, you know, kind of water it down, your opinion of it. But this guy, man, he did a lot of crazy things, man. You know, this murder was not the only shooting or violent incident that he was involved in. This guy was involved in a lot of them for many, many years. And, you know, it's also kind of crazy, too, with this murder. You think, you know, because there's so many reports of him being so paranoid and, you know, fearing for his life and things like that. So he was obviously thinking about the choices he was making quite often. But, so you'd think, you know, with him, you know, thinking of this stuff that much, that he wouldn't have been so sloppy when it came to the murder, because they found a joint with Hernandez's DNA close to Odin Lloyd's body. And a lot of the evidence was obtained through the cameras system in their house. Now, I know you don't necessarily have to have the cameras on for things to be recorded, you know, as far as with the company. You know what I'm saying? Just like you don't always have to be on a phone call for your phone to hear what you're saying, if you dig what I'm saying. But what I mean is, you would have think he would have ripped them cameras up out of the house or something like that. Like, I don't know. It just seemed kind of crazy, you know, like, is the way they describe him, you know, planning and being so precautious and everything and so paranoid about things. You think he would have put together a better plan, but I don't know, you know. Another thing too is, I'm really wondering if the motive, if the whole reason for Hernandez committing this murder is going back to what I was originally talking about, and that's the fact of him being undercover, right? Because they haven't clearly been able to establish, you know, why he killed Odin Lloyd. And, you know, many people speculate because, you know, Odin Lloyd was with Hernandez's girl or wife's sister. So, you know, he had more of a reason to tell that kind of information than someone else would, you know, that just knows someone. The fact that he's with, you know, wifey's sister, you know, it gives him more of an interest to tell. So, you know, I really wonder, I'm really thinking that was probably, you know, what happened, because they really have not been able to establish a motive. There's other theories out there that Odin Lloyd was rocking with some people that Hernandez had beef with, but, you know, no one really knows. So I gotta wonder if that's what this was all about, you know, because, like I said, getting back to how I was saying, how the man was going on all these homophobic rants all the time, I don't know. It just makes me feel like that might have been what it was all over. And I first heard of all this stuff with this case. Like, I mean, when I first heard of him being arrested in the case and everything, like, I had no idea about all this. But it's just kind of wild to find out, that that's what this basically was all about. Now, with the suicide, and, I'm sure for those who don't know, he beat the other murder case that he had, and then the one, this one with Odin Lloyd that he was convicted on, he had an open appeal, that was about to go underway. So since the appeal was granted and, he killed himself, the conviction is vacated, which was able, because of that, he was able to leave them money that he would not have been able to leave them. And, prosecutors are now trying to fight to, like, they're disputing that. They're trying to, change that, but, and put the conviction back on him. But I don't think that it's going to work. But, I don't know, man. It's just kind of wild. Like, get in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about all this. It's just, it's just kind of a shame. I mean, I'm not having any sympathy for this dude. I don't want to say it's a shame, but it's just like, really, dude? That's why, that's why you were always wilding out. That's why you hated yourself to the point, that you committed murders and all this all over just because you couldn't be real with, like, who you are. It's just crazy, man. And we know that PCP he was smoking on wasn't helping nothing neither. But I don't know, man. That's all I really got, guys. I just wanted to tap in and speak on this. That, I just kind of found this to be crazy. That's really what this all boiled down to, man. But it's Jay Coffee Talk. Let me know your thoughts in that comment section. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to sub to the channel. Hit the bell. Daily videos, music, sports, news, life, current events, and more. I'm out of here. Peace.